Oh boy, disclaimer.
Welcome one and all to Banderson's Treehouse of Horror Countdown Review. Continue watching, if you dare. Well, we've reached Treehouse of Horror 13. Unlucky for some, eh? In a pretty fun intro, Ned has a seance at the Simpsons house to talk to Maud, who returns, but not before Bart dresses up as her. Okay. Anyway, Maud goes from beautiful bride to ghoulish banshee before pulling out a book with the episode title on the cover. Fun fact, this is the only Treehouse installment to have its number written as normal letters rather than Roman numerals. This intro is short, fun and well animated, so it's a good start. I remember when I first watched this episode back when it aired and I really didn't like this segment. However, upon rewatching it, my opinion on it has gotten better. After Homer buys a mysterious hammock off a salesman, he finds out that laying on it produces a clone of himself. He decides to get a series of clones to help make his life a lot easier, which seems alright at first, but things go south very quick. With too many clones to handle, and with them slowly becoming crazier and crazier, he decides to abandon them in the wilderness and throws away the hammock at the same time, which goes about as well as you'd expect. Why did I not like this segment when I was younger? Probably because I was a kid who liked to act tough and this wasn't creepy or scary enough for me. I don't know. Looking back, it's a fun little segment with some great comedy. The clones' actions are priceless at times, and the way that they are all better dads than Homer is hilarious. I love the one who just starts randomly smashing up the car. One awesome scene is when the abandoned clones make even more clones because we see so many different Homers. Seeing Peter Griffin in there is a great nod to the belief that Family Guy is a clone of The Simpsons. It's also nice to see classic Homer. Homer's stupidity also brings in a lot of comedy. Him shooting only the clones that remembered the way home is just so stupid. You have the gun, just shoot them all. Brilliant stuff. Also dumping the hammock exactly where the clones are is just so dumb it makes me chuckle. Seeing the mass amount of clones going on a rampage is great because we see Homer's traits times by 100. Using giant donuts to lure them into Springfield's Gorge is a bit silly, but we are talking about a segment with hundreds of Homer clones, so I guess the concept of silliness is out the window. If I had one complaint, it's the ending. Marge finds out that the real Homer died with the clones, and the one with her is indeed a clone. She starts to wonder what she will do, only to immediately stop caring once she gets a back rub. I know it's a non-canon episode, but Marge would never act like that. It's just such an unfitting end. I'll still give it a 7 out of 10 for some good humour and a cool concept which they use to their full potential. I think the writers had a case of Omega Man syndrome with this one because it's a freaking mess. Lisa discovers that a young 21-year-old William H. Bonney was gunned down and decides to use it as a way to rid Springfield of guns. It works, but then William H. Bonney, aka Billy the Kid, rises from the dead with Jesse and Frank James, the Sundance Kid, and Kaiser Wilhelm, for some reason. Without guns, the town is defenseless and the zombies run amok. Good Christ, where to start? First of all, I find it hard to believe that Lisa, the queen of books and American history, doesn't know what Billy the Kid's name was. Also, why are all these outlaws buried in Springfield? And what the hell was the gang doing for all those years? Just waiting around hoping someone would one day stumble across their graves and ban guns? Bit of a weak plan there. The first act is pretty funny to be fair, especially when the townsfolk are giving away their guns. Look at Maggie's gun collection for Christ's sake. Also, losing Norma's genitals line does get a laugh out of me. The city turning everyone's guns into playground structures is also hilarious, but god damn does it go downhill fast. As soon as the zombies take over, all it is just them shooting the shit out of everything. Literally, you hear gunshots every second. It gets really fucking annoying after a while. Then Professor Frink comes out of nowhere with a fucking time machine. Where did that come from? Then Homer goes back in time and makes the townfolk shoot the zombies before losing their guns. Then another Homer comes from an even distant future saying that guns have destroyed the Earth, so Moe shoots him and steals a time machine for himself. And that's it! Who? What? When? Why? What in the ever-loving name of arse pimples was that? There's no flow, no transitions, nothing! It just goes from being a zombie western to a time travel segment with no go-between. Not one! It's like the writers couldn't figure out what to do, so they just threw a bunch of crap together in hopes that it would work. Spoiler alert, it didn't! I'm going 1 out of 10 for this segment, and that's simply because of those few jokes I mentioned earlier. This is just a complete mess that makes Huma-Huma look like a well-structured, easy-to-follow masterpiece. Thank God we have this segment to follow on from that mess. A parody of the island of Dr. Moreau, the island of Dr. Hibbert revolves around the Simpsons family travelling to the island of Lost Souls on vacation. But what should be a wonderful trip to paradise turns bad quickly as Homer discovers Hibbert has been turning people into animals. I want to start by saying that Dr. Hibbert is brilliant in this. His character is perfect for the role of someone who has gone completely mad. He's dark and serious, only to then break into his catchphrase laugh. It blends together perfectly. He is also genuinely chilling at times with his evil glare and creepy smile. The segment also has some great comedy. Homer's Scotsman line killed me the first time I watched this segment. The scene where Homer and Marge make love after she has transformed into a panther is comedy gold, as is Homer's realisation that she's now a beast. Homer milking Flanders also tickles me whenever I watch this. The best bit, however, is when we see all the people who have been turned into animals. The writers and animators did a great job of making every character an animal that represents them best. An anteater is the perfect animal for Maggie because of her pacifier fixed perfectly with her snout. Bart being a spider works because he's mischievous. Lisa being an eagle is a nice touch because she's a wise girl. Apu being a possum works because of his many children. Chief Wiggum being a pig speaks for itself. And these are just a few of them. They look brilliant and fit each character's personalities and traits. Also, Disco Shrew is an awesome pun. The ending is brilliant too. Homer decides to join them upon realising that as an animal he gets to sleep, eat and shag, and he gets transformed into a walrus. The manimals are then seen all living happily in paradise. Kang and Kodos also appear at the very end and mention that the island looks like their number 4. Okay? Let's be honest here, the writers clearly forgot about them again and had to shoehorn them in at the last minute. I'm giving the Island of Dr. Hibbert a 9 out of 10. Not only is it packed with laughs, but the imagination used in this segment is mind-boggling. And it's a wonderful parody of its source material too. Treehouse of Horror 13 is an annoying episode to rate. It had a fantastic segment in the Island of Dr. Hibbert and a really solid one with Sending the Clones, but the Fright to Creep and Scare Arms is so far the worst segment I've reviewed this month. It's annoying because the episode had every right to be considered one of the best, but the middle segment really drags it down. Being realistic here, I can't give an episode with a segment that only scored 1 higher than a 7 out of 10, and considering neither of the other segments got full marks, I'm going to give Treehouse 13 a 6 out of 10. Think of it like a cake. It looks beautiful, it's delicious and moist to eat, but then you turn the cake around and BAM! A third of it is covered in shit. It would put you off it pretty quickly, wouldn't it? And that's it for this video and this review. Do you agree with me or do you think I'm a cherry short of a cherry cake? What did you think of Treehouse of Horror 13? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you next time.